Hello, everybody. It's been a hot minute since I've done an episode of Diverseability. Right now, I'm on with Miss Central Pennsylvania, Maria Cade, first runner-up to the Miss Pennsylvania pageant, which I personally went to and had a blast while I was there. She did amazing. You all should have seen it.
Thank you, Emma. You're so sweet. Thank you so much. And I'm so happy that you reached out and we were able to find a time to make this work. I'm so excited to speak with you, chat with you today a little bit more, and get to know you a little bit more after just chatting virtually over Instagram DM. So I'm so excited to get to talk to you in person, and yeah.
Oh, me too. So what was it like being in the top 2 of Miss Pennsylvania, just being on that stage? You were in the top 2, and even just like in the top 5 when they announced your name, that must have been like, oh my God.
Well, I mean, I still can't wrap my mind around what happened that week and that night specifically. It was just incredible. Going into Miss Pennsylvania week, I wanted to do my best. I knew that I was prepared for the job if I was given the opportunity to do so. But at the end of the day, I know that only one incredible woman walks away with the crown and the job of Miss Pennsylvania for a year. So going into the night, I was at peace, oddly enough. And a few of my sister queens came up to me. They were like, you seem so calm. And I was like, it's out of my hands. Whatever happens, happens. I can only do the best that I can do. And I'm so proud of myself and the performance that I was able to give and the message that I was able to share on the Miss Pennsylvania stage this year, and to be able to have been named first runner-up to our incredible new Miss Pennsylvania, Alyssa Baybridge, it's just an honor. It's a blessing. I never thought in a million years growing up that I would even be on the Miss Pennsylvania stage. So the fact that I was able to walk away with over $7,500 in scholarships to put towards my student loans, and the experience of a lifetime, there's no words. I feel so blessed and so honored, and so grateful to have had the experience that I did.
That's amazing. And one of the most important parts of the Miss America organization is the social impact initiative. Mm-hmm. And I always really look forward to seeing everybody's social impact initiative, because they're all so important and they're issues relevant to today, especially today. So talk a little bit about what yours was.
Absolutely. Well, my social impact initiative is called Be Visible. And the whole focus of the initiative is to bring awareness and light to underrepresented communities. And I advocate for inclusion and representation for all, no matter who you are or where you come from. My story is a little bit different. I grew up in a multiracial family. So my mom is Italian and my dad is Taiwanese. So growing up in the town that I grew up in, Newcastle, Pennsylvania, it's a small town in Western PA, probably about 2,500 or 25,000 people, not 100. It's not that small. But the vast majority of people who I interacted with were Caucasian and specifically Italian. So I was very, I was very, in touch with my mom's side of the family and her culture. And growing up, I didn't see much representation for my dad's side of the family. He was born in Taipei, Taiwan, and he moved to the United States when he was 7 years old. So the majority of his family and my ama, my grandmother, they all live in Taipei still. And, to not have that culture fostered at a young age, it affected me, and it made my viewpoint of the world, and it made me think, well, I shouldn't be proud of who I am because I don't see anybody like me represented aside from my dad. And then my aunt and cousins who live in North Carolina. But aside from that, the representation was slim. And it wasn't until my senior year of college at UNC Chapel Hill when I met a journalism professor who was a former on-air TV news reporter doing exactly what I wanted to do. And she was actually half Taiwanese, just like me. And to be able to see her representation, to hear her story, be mentored by her, and to know that she was able to be successful in this field that I had dreamed of so long, but I wasn't fully confident in myself. simply because I didn't see people represented like me. But, you know, to see her success, it fueled me, and it gave me the passion to go out and achieve my dreams and really want to work to be an on-air TV news reporter, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. So I think it's absolutely vital for children at a young age to see visual representations of themselves succeeding in any arena. It doesn't matter if they want to be a TV news journalist, if they want to be a singer, or if they want to be a doctor or a lawyer. They need to see that visual representation, because for children, I think it's so important to have tangible, visible things that they can latch onto. And to see that representation at a young age, it could possibly plant that seed in their minds so that they can go out and achieve success in the future, because they thought, oh, well, here's this doctor who looks like me, comes from a similar background. We both have the same ethnicity, and she's being successful, so I can do it too.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel, you know, because I say this all the time, like as someone with a disability who's on the autism spectrum, I sometimes I don't see much representation, you know, in all fields with my disability. I'm just like, I need to see that representation of people like in the fields of psychology, in the fields of higher education, and not just STEM, because I feel like there's a lot of stigma when it comes to certain communities. But that definitely needs to change. And I think your platform, Social Impact Initiative, is really great for that. Because it's really
Absolutely. And, you know, it's so important, like you said, to have the visibility for all different types of people who are underrepresented, not just racially underrepresented, but people with differing abilities, people of different sexualities, body types. All of that is so important. And that's the work that I'm doing now, is to create a space where children can see visual representations of themselves, and then hopefully they'll be able to go out and achieve success, and sort of like a ripple effect, inspire the next generation of leaders.
Yeah. Well, um you're definitely succeeding right now. I mean, over
Thank you, Emma.
$7,500 in scholarships. That's definitely that's definitely really impressive.
Well, I mean, it's a blessing. And I just started in the Miss America organization. I mean, by the time we're speaking, it will have only been a little bit over a year, because this is technically my second year competing in the Miss America organization. But my first year, which was 2021, it was the tail end of the COVID year. And I actually won a title digitally, because it still wasn't safe to have in-person competitions at that time because of COVID and restrictions that were in place. So my first local title in the Miss America organization, I did not win competing in person. I did all phases of competition virtually over Zoom in my college apartment living room. So definitely a non-traditional entrance into the Miss America organization. But, you know, that definitely shaped me. And being in the organization a little bit over a year, I've already earned over $10,000 in scholarships, which is incredible to say out loud. And I mean, it's just such a blessing as somebody who comes from a lower socioeconomic background. You know, the financial situation that my family was in wasn't always the best, and we didn't always have the means to do things that maybe most normal families would be able to do. And I was fortunate enough to be able to go to college on a partial scholarship, but I still have student loans that I need to pay off. So that was definitely a motivating factor for why I wanted to get involved in the Miss America organization. And to say that over $10,000 of my student loan debt has been wiped away just by competing in this organization and being myself. You know, I think that that's a testament to the incredible opportunities that are here in the Miss America organization, and things that every single person who is eligible to compete should take advantage of.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I've been thinking a lot about too. And we've talked about this, you know,
Yes.
the person that's really someone that I really look up to is Megan Sinisi, actually, because
The
of
queen.
what her she's amazing. I love
Yes.
what her social impact initiative was. She gave a
Mhm.
voice to people on the autism spectrum, which I'm on, which I was really like just like in awe of. And I just really, I love her to death.
Me too. She was one of the first people to reach out to me when I won that local title the first time. And I only had about a month to prepare for Miss Pennsylvania last year. I won that title in May of 2021, and then Miss Pennsylvania is always in June. So I only had a month to get ready, and she was just so welcoming, so kind, reached out to me immediately and made herself available. And I'll never forget that kindness. And we were actually dressing room mates and line mates, because the order of the competition last year, she was number 7 and I was number 8. So we spent the entire week getting to know each other. And I mean, she's such a great friend. And like you said, such a great ally to everybody who she meets, and, you know, really just puts her service at the forefront. And she had an incredible, phenomenal year as Miss Pennsylvania. And to be able to witness it, I mean, it's just mind blowing, the work that she was able to do, the people who she was able to touch. And I really admire her tenacity and persistence throughout the year. And definitely, if I am ever able to earn the job of Miss Pennsylvania in the future, would love to do half of the work that she's done, because I mean, it's just incredible, everything that she's done.
It definitely is. And her baton twirling, fantastic.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Seeing her baton twirl with fire on it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I would die.
She is amazing. I mean, it just goes to show all of the hard work and practice and dedication that she's put into it, and for it to pay off, and for her to be able to perform on the Miss America stage with her talent that she has been studying and working so hard towards. I mean, that's just incredible. I love getting the opportunity to watch her twirl. And I hope that even though she's not Miss Pennsylvania anymore, she'll still be able to have opportunities to do so. And I hopefully will be able to watch them, because she is incredible.
She really is. Now, and your talent is voice, and I've personally heard you sing.
Yes.
Which is amazing. How long have you been singing for?
Well, my mom always would say that I sang before I could talk, which I don't know if that's true, or if she just says that because I've been singing ever since I was little. Now, when I officially began to train and study voice, I was probably about 14, 15 years old. And I started off doing community theater. So I am a theater kid, proud. And I did so many shows growing up at my local community theater, the Newcastle Playhouse. And that, really shaped my view of society and the world, because so many different people from so many different backgrounds do theater and are involved in the arts. And to be able to interact with them, get to know them, that allowed me to see that, there are so many diverse perspectives in this world. And it's important as people that we get to know one another and, see each other in a diverse light. So I did musical theater all growing up. Throughout elementary school, middle school, high school. It wasn't until I got to college, however, when I started studying voice classically. And I minored in music and vocal performance at UNC Chapel Hill, in addition to majoring in media and journalism. So I was able to study under Dr. Jeannie Fisher, and she taught me my classical training. And I think it's important as a singer to have that background, even if you're not going to pursue classical music, just because of the vocal technique. You really need that classical background to be able to properly sing. And for so long, I didn't know how to properly sing. So it was really important for me to have that classical training, and I just fell in love with it. I always had an affinity for classical music. I loved opera. I was that weird kid that would listen to classical music on my iPod instead of like the Hot 100 charts. I grew up going to operas at the Pittsburgh CLO. I was fortunate enough that my school used to take us on a trip every single year to see an opera production down there. So that was my first entrance into the world of classical music and classical style singing. So UNC has an incredible classical vocal performance program. And I feel so fortunate that I was able to take advantage of it and learn from some of the best in the industry. So I started classically training once I got to college, fell in love with the style of singing. And as a soprano, I knew that if I ever got the opportunity to perform in the Miss America organization, I would want to do a classical vocal. And last year I sang a song in English, but this year I wanted to challenge myself, and I had always wanted to do a foreign language piece on stage. Unfortunately, due to COVID, my senior year recitals that I would have had in the music department were unfortunately canceled. So I never got that opportunity to fully demonstrate and show off all of the technique and the work that I had been doing on my voice classically in that department. So I knew that I wanted the opportunity to showcase it on stage. So this year I sang Nessun Dorma, which is an aria from the opera Turandot, and that was written by Giacomo Puccini. It is actually the first opera that I ever saw in person at the Metropolitan Opera House in New York City. So it has a special connection to me. It has a special connection to the Italian side of my family as well. My grandmother loves Italian arias sung by Andrea Bocelli and Pavarotti. And, you know, those were two of the men who sang this aria that I sang originally and made it very popular and well known. So I knew that I wanted to honor her and honor that connection that we have, while also showcasing the technicalities and technique that I had learned throughout my time at UNC. So that's a little bit about how I chose the piece, and to be able to perform on a stage at any time as somebody who has such a passion and such a love for performing, you know, it's an honor anytime I get to share music with an audience. I really think that the connection that you have as a performer with an audience that you're performing for, there's nothing like having that live interaction, at least in my opinion. There's something about that electricity, the way that you feel when you're watching a live performance, that can't be replicated in any other setting. So anytime that I get to perform, it just fills my cup. It brings me so much joy.
It does for me too. I started taking vocal lessons this year, actually within the last year, because and at the Let There Be Rock School, which is in Delaware County, and my vocal instructor is amazing. Right now I'm studying a piece called Speechless from Aladdin.
Oh yes, I love that song.
It's my first show tune, studying a show tune.
Nice.
I studied a ballad before. Which was definitely out of my comfort zone, but it's important to get out of your comfort zone with your voice.
Oh, definitely.
And it's just something that's definitely saved my life. Just like singing, it's so good for your mental health. I highly recommend it to anybody, just to sing whatever you. And a quote that from Elvis Presley from the new movie I just saw it, called Elvis. I just saw it today, actually. Really good.
Nice.
One of the quotes that I really like is, "When something is too dangerous to speak, sing."
Yes.
And that's something that's really sticking to me. And especially with these times that we go through, it's important to sing, and it definitely lets your feelings out.
Absolutely. And I mean, like I said, scholarships were the primary reason why I originally got involved with competing in the Miss America organization. But another reason was because I wanted an outlet to perform and to sing. I don't get to do that anymore. Unfortunately, I don't get to do it educationally for school since I'm done with college, and I don't get to do it, recreationally in a community theater performance setting. So this was a way for me to also continue working on my craft and, share my love of music with everyone who I meet.
Yeah, music is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I would say thank you. It was for joining us today. I loved getting to know you and speaking with you. I'm going to stop the live stream now.